Hello, Creative Spirits listeners. This is Kate Darnell of W20C and Sherry McCarthy of Creative Mermaids, and we're super excited that you're here with us today. Seriously excited. It's been about 3 weeks for me and Kate, so we've got a lot of excitement we're bringing to the table today.
So much
And
energy.
yes, and we're talking about one of our favorite topics, more because we're passionate about stopping it as opposed to because we love it so much. And that's the idea of external validation. This is something that we both deal with exactly all the time with our clients, with ourselves, our own lives, our friends. This is why I started Cageology, Breaking Out Your Cage. This is why Kate works so much with the mood and helping people find out who they are inside. This is something that's massive, and we are convinced if we could break out of the whole validation trap, we would be so much happier. We touched about it a little bit before, but now we want to go deeper in this episode.
We sure do. And I think it's a need. I think we need to go deeper because I really feel energetically this episode is going to be the episode where people go, oh, yeah, I'm waiting for someone to give me the green light. And beautiful souls, here is your green light. Start.
Take it.
You are already that thing you want to be.
If you get a permission slip, I just wrote you one.
It's here. Kate and Sherry stamped, like signed, sealed, delivered. It's time to begin. It's time to trust in yourself. It's time to dig deep and go, I am enough. I have everything I need. And do you know what? We don't need parents, besties, husbands, colleagues, mentors, siblings. We don't even need a soul sister to tell us that we are enough. In fact, no one is going to tell you to start or to get out of your own way as much as you are going to get out of your own way so that you can truly begin whatever it is that you want to begin.
Yes, and even more so on the flip side, do not let them stop you once you decide to go ahead and begin, because they will. Even the people who love you the most, they want to protect you. They want to keep you safe. They want to make sure that you're not exposing yourself to mean people on the internet who are going to hurt your feelings. And the sad part is, guys, and this is what we do to our children, is we keep them safe. We don't let them explore and do things because they're not in a place where they can do it safely. But we're adults now. We can go out there. We can do the exploring. We can handle someone coming up and saying a snotty thing to us. But we have been trained since children to keep ourselves safe, that's what we've been stuck doing now as adults. Now we should be able to say, and this is actually why I love fairy tales so much. The fairy tale is all about, the good mother being removed and then the bad mother coming in and cutting you loose from all that safety, sending you out into the bad world so you can handle all those bad, horrible things and then come back stronger and able to do what you need to do and able to do what you want to do and able to live the life you want to live. But first, you need to experience those bad bookie ghosts that everyone wants to protect you from. And we're here to say, go out there, do it. You're not going to die if someone writes a nasty comment about your beautiful poem or your wonderful story. It's going to hurt. I'm not going to say it's not going to hurt, but you're not going to die. And you're never going to get the story out if you don't allow it to be exposed to these things. So that's why we're saying, give up the validation, stop the green light, find out what truly scares you, and then go do it anyway. And with this, your permission.
There's a beautiful gypsy poem, Feel the Fear, Do It Anyway. That's not just necessarily a gypsy poem, but, it's like the fake, the fucked, the fear. Go, feel it, do it anyway. And beautiful souls, really, truly, it's so time. And, of course, I know we've got quite a few other creative artists that listen to our podcast. This is not just writers. This might just even be if you're in a job that doesn't light you up and there's another thing or something you want to study, there's something that you want to be doing, do it. And I really mean it. We do get in our own way, and be kind to yourself about that. That's okay too. I'm not trying to be a bully and just be like, get out of your own way and go and do it. I'm just hopefully shedding a little bit of light on what's really stopping you. And do you know what? If you take away that it's not really all of those people that I listed before, if they're not really physically stopping you, and I mean, unless you're in a very, very unsafe relationship, which please seek help if you are, like there's no reason why you should be, in a dangerous situation where people are physically stopping you from living out your dreams. We are just crippled by fear. We're crippled. by a fear of failure, a fear of not pleasing, a fear of judgment. What would people think, Sherry? What would people think? What will this do to our children? Oh, the dialogue is huge, guys. And I'm just hearing it from so many places. And then I'm also coming across people who have been in jobs for a very, very long time, or are working really hard, and they've been saying the same thing to me. They're like, oh, well, that's just how it is. And
I've heard this so often.
I'm
And
often
I'm like,
choosing
no, it's
discernment.
not.
I'm like, oh, yeah, that's how it is. Usually because I'm just, at a child daycare drop-off, or I'm, seeing someone like on the way. And then every time I sit in my heart space, and I'm so sad for that person. And I'm so sad that I didn't go, no, you can change that right now. You can change it right now. And there's always a time and place. And I know there's a time and place here, sitting opposite beautiful Sherry, and talking with our beautiful listeners and saying, no, not good enough. And I'm just going to call bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. There's swearing, there's the F-bomb,
Yes.
there's bullshit. But no,
try to remind me to put that in the spoilers, but
yeah, we must remember to put that in the spoilers. Swearing alert. Now I'll try. So not even going to apologize, because I'm calling bullshit. Especially when I know this, because like my clients have been voicing this, especially when we have that dialogue in our voices. Oh, it's all right for them, but it's all right for them. Oh, but they did it. Like, oh, but they've had this opportunity. And I've done it myself hundreds of times. Like, oh, but their parents brought them that house, so they no, I don't know, Kate. And the person listening to me doesn't know either. You get out of your own way. You find ways to create, to live the life you want to live, to lead the way you want to lead, to support the way you want to support. And it all comes back to being true to you and where you're at, and how you go about doing that starts with you honoring what you need.
And then taking baby steps. I think this is also really important, is to honor the baby steps. There's nothing wrong with baby steps. And what all this stuff we're talking about it's very much a golden cage that we talk about. And yes, it's what you said. Some people have bigger, shinier golden cages than other people. Yes, some people have more money or less money. It doesn't matter what your cage actually looks like. But we all have a very shiny golden cage that keeps us safe, that we're afraid of stepping out of, because it goes with, well, if I give this up, then I also give up, well, it's easy for them because they've got money, but if I do it, then that means I need to give up my car, my Starbucks, and my clothes, and my this and my that. We have this huge list of things that we're terrified of losing, and then we have to lose the status with it. Because this is one thing that I always said, like, if I have my time back, I think I just would have went to work at Starbucks and wrote. Seriously, that I would have. But in the end, actually, I'm glad with university, because it gave me Japan and Korea, and these countries I could never have taught in if I didn't have a university degree. So in that case, actually, no. But
everything. Also, side note, you're exactly where you need to be, and everything that's happened is exactly what's had to happen, because we can get stuck on that too, can't we? Like, oh well, if I'd done this, it's still keeping us in that cage.
Oh, absolutely. And this is just it, because then so I always say that there's different jailors. There's the jailors of society's expectations. There's the jailors of your own family and their expectations. And then, of course, whatever you yourself have in your head. But these are all the people who are just in your head. But then, of course, you yourself are one of the jailors, of course, going with, well, I could have done this, I could have done that, I should have done this, and now it's all over because I didn't do that. So might as well just give up on that dream. Like, no, you can be 90 and start your book. Like, it doesn't matter. But it does matter if you let it matter. I think this is also what's so important when we talk about creating your own reality, because you create the reality of what you expect. And if you think you could never do this, then guess what? You're never going to do it. Whereas the opposite is true too. If you're like, you know what? No, I'm never going to stop. And I realized this too when I look back at some of the people who started self-publishing when I did. And some of them I was like, like, they're okay, but they're not fantastic. And you know what? They're out there. They're still doing it. They're making good money from that because they never gave up. They never, ever for a moment thought I wasn't going to make it. And they just kept doing it. And guess what? They did. So it's not even about the talent that you pack, because if I don't think you're talented, and that doesn't mean someone else doesn't absolutely love your work. You just need to keep going till you find.
Yes, definitely.
Love your work. There's dinosaur stuff. Like, it just might take a while to find your people. Just stop and stop letting these people the thought of failure, the thought of people laughing at you, the thought of people writing bad reviews. J.K. Rowling gets bad reviews. Do you think she's sad about it? I doubt it. You know, like, I really don't.
I can't wait till we have
but I
her
bet at first she was. I bet at first she was. Exactly, right. But, I mean, at first I'm sure she was devastated. The very thought. I mean, they rejected her half a dozen times. You know, like Harry Potter was rejected, I think, 10 times. It was actually going to be rejected again, except for apparently the publisher's daughter found it and loved it, and then she said, "Okay, we'll try it." So again, looking for that external validation, even in terms of looking for an agent or a client or those initial readers, it doesn't mean anything unless you're only doing it for the money. Then you'll find your souls being sucked because you're like, oh, the money's been coming in. You know, okay, well, why are you doing it then? Yes, money's important. And I think we should be charging what we think we're worth and then some, because we're always worth more than we think. And, but at the same time, if it's really important also not to, with validation and everything else, because then we slip into validation again, when we start looking for external results to build the inside of happiness, we need to do it the other way around. And this is what Danielle Laporte is always talking about, desire mapping. You know, follow the desire and see where that leads, not where you think the desire ends up and then build backwards. Instead, we should start with the desire and build out. And I think this is really important. But the validation sneaks in, and we start building out with the desire. We start going, oh no, this is never going to work. This is never going to get me money. People are going to laugh at me. They're going to think I'm a flake. They're going to think I'm woo, blah, 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 blah. And then we go, but this is close. It isn't exactly what I want, but it's close to what I want. And I think people will accept that. So I'll go chase that one. And then when I've got enough money or enough success or enough whatever external validation we think we need to continue, then I'll go back to my heart. And it never works because we weren't following our heart to begin with. We were looking for that external validation that makes a very wobbly ladder to climb. And I think it's really important that we build a really strong foundation that lets us build what we want and what we love. And yes, there'll be mistakes. But it'll be a mistake that we made because we were following what we truly wanted as opposed to chasing external validation. So eventually we could have what we want anyway, which is we go about so backwards because this is how we're raised. And I think this is really important. Were you shuffling cards? Did I see you shuffling?
I was. I totally was. And perfect. Of course I was. And I was just like, do you know what, actually? A card I pulled earlier this evening was Elixir. And I'm just sitting here going, this is such my Elixir. Like having this time to just really be like, what's on your mind, Sherry? What's on our mind? Validation. People really have this need for validation. And it's something I've spent the last 2 years working through. And I can look back now and really see how far I've come just by getting out of my own way and starting and not asking people what they're telling them what I'm doing. I remember one of the first times I told a friend I was writing a book and my journal entries were going to be made public. And do you know, instead of me going, oh, what do you think I'm doing this? Because I said, I'm doing this, she was like, oh, great, how can I help? As opposed to, oh, are you? Oh, yeah, sure, we can dream.
Let me give you some advice.
Action, yeah. It was like, oh, cool. You're doing, okay, you're doing that. So this is such soul balm because like Sherry and I are so seamless at recording our podcast that you wouldn't even know that we've had 3 weeks of missing each other or like
internet. Martinique has no internet. I don't know why.
Who knows? Because you didn't need it, my love. You needed a pause. We needed to slow down. And it's been beautiful because now we're back with all this energy. It's perfect. But so yeah, total soul balm to be sitting opposite Sherry again and having these chats. But of course I went to the cards with all these. And do you know what card came out? Instinct. Oh, side note, Sarah Wilder, Animal Kin Oracle. This is her 5th edition that Hay House have published. She's a beautiful Australian spirit goddess. And she's made it to the top. You know, you can go and pick these up in, you know, very mainstream shops, ladies and gents. And the card that I pulled, this beautiful Animal Kin deck, is Shark Instincts. You know who you need to run it past. You know who you need to zip. the mouth with, you know, what's getting in your way. It's time to trust those, you know, this killer and go and be that killer badass and go and do, and, you know, go and really do. And I watch some of the beautiful souls that I've had, you know, had the honor of working with, who go and just do, and it's amazing. Like they skyrocket, and I just go, oh, don't forget me. And then I, you know, get out of my own way and go, you're helping these people, for crying out loud, because ego. But it's just incredible to be watching these people go, oh no, well, Sherry, you would experience this because my writing is where it is because you as my coach, you know. It's just incredible when you
but all I did was give you permission.
Yeah,
I really want to put that record.
it
sounds like you sound like I sat there with you, we did the writing together, and I helped you edit it. I did nothing other than be like, Kate, do it.
You know what? Full circle. Sherry told me to get out of my own way, and that's why this was so important with me. And this is why, you know, in the 3 weeks we've had apart, this has been on my altar validation podcast, because I needed to speak with Sherry. It couldn't be something I shared. It wasn't for a blog. It wasn't for a Facey Live. It was, I need to talk about this with Sherry. And this is why, because you were the one that told me, you were like, break up with ego, just do it. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it now, because it is actually really, truly that easy. Like, it is.
And hard. Exactly.
Simple and as easy.
It's like Neil Gaiman.
I know, always. But
it's as easy as putting the words down and as hard as that, you know.
Look what was just sitting in my lap. Snake information.
Oh.
Shed that skin. Shed. Oh, listen to my throat go. Shed that skin, beautiful souls. Shed the skin. Oh, I really encourage you guys.
You know what I was literally also thinking the whole entire time, looking at instinct, and now this pulled out too? Because before you pulled the cards, I was like, Sherry, stop talking. You're talking too much. Okay, so you know that, you know, internal dialogue as well. Right. But I also thought, you know, when you were talking then about, you know, how we all feel this was, you know, we used to be cavemen, which is also very instinctual, right? That, you know, we used to need the group. You know, if you've got 20, 30, up to 150 people, that was huge, you know, and a successful group was 150. After 150, they broke off.
Yeah.
You needed each other. You needed to fit in. You couldn't afford people to look at you funny because you might starve and die. Yeah. We have evolved. We are past that. But our brain, our instincts, it's still very much stuck in this protection group, need protection, need the group, you know, because, you know, thousands of years ago, you couldn't jump on Amazon and just order your food in. You know, you don't even need a house anymore if you don't want to. You know, like we are not there anymore. I highly recommend living a full, vibrant life outside the house. But, you know, if you can't do that right now, that's also okay. But we're no longer there. And this is where the transformation comes in. We need to accept that transformation, that we can step out and be ourselves, and we're not going to die. And that feeling of thinking we're going to die is very much this instinct, this caveman thing of, you know, protect yourself, be part of the group, protect yourself, otherwise you die. But it's not true anymore. We are now able to step into a place we can be fully ourselves, our wonderful, weird, geeky, odd, fantastic selves. And because of the internet, because of all these wonderful things that we can do now, it doesn't matter if I'm the only weirdo in my whole entire country, because my particular weirdo is probably all over the place in other countries, and we can still meet and talk to each other and find each other. This transformation will happen. You just need to allow yourself that really scary place of starting that first fairy tale step of going into the darkness, going through the, maybe people laugh at me, they probably will. I'm not going to tell you they won't, but they're not your people. Going through that transformation and coming out the other side and going, I found my people. I found my place. I'm living who I am. I'm living from my heart, my soul. And then it's not that there won't be mistakes, but the mistakes are yours. And they feel so much better than those mistakes you made looking back going, I just spent 50 years in a job I hated because everyone thought I'd be nuts to do something else. And trust me, that golden cage of, and first off, the security's a lie. There's no such thing as security anymore anyway. You know, the job can still be lost. But even more importantly, I often think when people say to me too, like, but how can I afford my life? And I always go, how can you afford not to? Seriously, if you come to me, then you're at a place where you are literally dying inside because you hate your life. And you are using the money from your job as a band-aid to all these gushing, bleeding wounds. Okay, but at least I've got nice clothes, and at least I've got vacations, at least. No, you know what? If you really just want to write, and if that's what your passion is, cut back. Get the smaller house. Get a one-room apartment. Get one car. Get no car. Bike. It's healthier. You know, there's so many things that you can give up, and all of a sudden, you don't need the big fancy job anymore, or even the mediocre job anymore, to live a life that you want. Because I used to do the same thing, you know, with this whole like driving myself crazy, so I could write in a cafe, and you know, I would be like spending all this money trying to how to figure, okay, how do I make enough money that I can do exactly what I'm, you know, exactly, right? And you're like, what are you doing to yourself, Sherry? But it was chasing the external validation. It was saying,
Yes.
okay, I want to be able to tell people, look, I've got this bank account that lets me do this.
Yes.
But yeah, step back and be like, what do I really need? What do I really want? You know? And I think this is why I get along with Patrick so well, because when we started traveling and everything else, you know, we often take a year off or 6 months even before we start doing this. And I can still remember one of his good friends sitting there and being like, how can you guys afford to do this? You know, I can't afford to do this. And he was like, you drive a Porsche. You know? Like,
Yes.
of course you can't afford to do this. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're a trust fund kid and drive a Porsche, you know, like if you have a job where you have and she had the designer clothes on, she had a beautiful apartment, and if that's what made her happy, I'm very happy for her. But you can't have all the stuff and also take a year off to 16 months to travel the world. It just doesn't work that way. Or, you know, having all the stuff and then you only have half an hour to write every night. That you need to kind of decide, okay, what is it that I really want? And that's what's really stopping you from getting what you want. The fear of someone looking at you and going, you gave up the Porsche? Or, you know, you gave up the house, you gave up the husband. Maybe you don't want to be with this person or your wife, you know, and they're choking life out of you. But on the outside, it looks quite good, doesn't it? Someone loves me. They've committed to me. I've got this on paper. And it's very scary to say, actually, I don't want that with you or maybe with anybody. And to walk away from that. All these things are scary because we're giving up the external validation of other people looking at us and going, okay, at least she's got it figured out. No one's got it figured out, guys.
No.
But there's people who are following their heart and learning along the way. And that journey, at least, is fun as opposed to soul sucking.
Yeah.
Because you never arrive. I think that's important to remember too. You never arrive.
No, you never do, because there's millionaires who are like, when I make my first million, then I'm good. I'm good. No, now they're chasing the next million.
Exactly.
I'm not making this up. Like a millionaire that I follow told me that this week. A millionaire told me that this week in a call we were on. And she was like, nope, that's nope. I'm not happy with the million now. I want more. But she's doing it in a healthy expression, and she's speaking that, and she's seeing that she needs to enjoy what she has now. But these numbers, they're just numbers. And this security, it's a myth. They're all myths.
Exactly.
Life is but a dream. Like this, we create the reality. We choose how we want to live our lives. No one else does it for us. And do you know what? You're not going to go to jail if you say to someone, actually, I really believe in this and I believe in who I am and what I'm going to do, and it's not a crime. So support me or bye-bye. And I know that is as easy and as difficult as that. Like
exactly.
That is a tricky one. That's a really, really tricky one. But beautiful souls, I promise you, if they are someone that needs to be in your life, they will support you. They actually will. Like they really will. That's a story you're telling yourself.
Yes.
If you think your loved ones are going to give up on you because you're doing something that you believe in, like that, they are not the loved ones, and I don't care if they're blood related or not. They are not your loved one if they're not going to support you for who you are.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is really important to remember.
Yes, there's fire in my belly, Sherry.
Yes, good. Go right.
I know. Well, actually, I love that you just said go right, because the content I have for the big book, After Ramblings, the big book, I don't know if I'm sure I would have told you the title, at least off Zoom or off record. the big book that will be my published book is pretty much all about this. Like, have I told you the title? Do you know, Sherry?
No, you haven't.
Okay,
No.
this is, I'm getting out of my own way, guys. A fair few people know it, but it's called Destination Death. And pretty much, just to give Sherry a moment to take that on. It's a really,
I know. I was like, ooh.
It's yellow and there's flowers. It's very soft. It's very femme. But Destination Death is pretty much like, we're all gonna die. So what are we going to do between now and then? And who are we going to choose to spend our lives with? And how are we going to honor, who we are and what we can give this world? How are we going to show up?
I love it.
You love it? There's a whole chapter.
I do. We need to start accepting death in general in this culture.
We need to talk about it.
Will die.
The word death needs to be said. And I've had people say to me, that's a working title. And I'm like, yeah, it is a working title in that I'm working towards having the confidence to use it. But Spirit gave me that.
No, use it. Yeah, no.
It's not really.
You put it out in Creative Spirit today. Exactly. Yeah. You are using it. And you're using it with that beautiful sunny cover.
It's
Destination Death.
Well, it has to be yellow because it's coming from my truth and integrity, my solar plexus chakra. So it's going to be so yellow. There's so much yellow. But Destination Death, there's a whole chapter about, isn't it amazing, like when we find out someone is going to die or someone's died, we talk about them so beautifully. We love them so much. We honor them. Well, no, not good enough. Let's talk about us now. Let's honor those people that we love now. Like, it's, yeah.
And also, and this is actually something that it's also a little bit off topic, but same topic. I mean, during my brother's funeral, all they talked about was his wonderful qualities. And I just sat there and went, you're ignoring a whole person.
Yes.
Because I love him. I do, but he was not the person you're talking about at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I will admit, he was not a wonderful partner. He loved his children. He really loved his children, but he was not a fantastic partner. And here's this, he wasn't a priest. He was, I don't know.
Celebrant, probably. Yeah.
So, I don't know, because it was Catholic. It was still Catholic, but we didn't get a priest.
Pastor.
No, I don't know. I really don't. Because it wasn't in a church. It
He's
was at
the person of
funeral.
authority. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just remember seeing red. And I honestly got mad because I'm like, you are not celebrating the full of who this person was. And why is it that death whitewashes everything you've done up until then and turns you into the golden person you've been striving for all along? Even though it's like, no, let's get into that messy part, Let's not just say this person was this wonderful person. And yes, I'm not saying we should get up there and like rattle off all these wonderful things, but we don't need to lie. You don't need to say he was what he wasn't. You know what I mean? And I think this is also something important that I think this is what we strive for, is also this lie, so that maybe in death afterwards we can be who we never were.
The story.
Yeah, exactly. The story. Yes.
Yes, exactly. 3 years ago, if someone told me that I, would be sharing the bestseller book that I know I'm writing, I have started it. If
Destination Death.
Destination Death. Destination Death, definitely. Spirit told me that's the name of it. It was never a working title, but I played along. Someone
Spirit knew you'd get there.
I was doing these things. I always knew the gentle hum in my heart space. I always knew I would do things. I always knew that. I truly did. If I really sit in my heart space, I always knew there was that hum. But if I knew that I would get out of my way in such a way and not wait for someone to hold my hand as I did it. I did wait for someone to tell me. I invested in my own healing. I did Sarah K. Jones. I went to a beautiful Heal Your Life seminar. I met Sherry. Sherry said, that's just your ego. Break up with ego and be on your merry way. I've trusted in Spirit. I've trusted in who I am. But really, truly, I just started because I don't want to die, knowing that hum was there and I knew there was something. And of course as well, actually, I had the massive having children. That really helps. I had time and space to work it out and knew that these children were going to give me these gifts. But, beautiful souls, there's no way I would have thought I would be here now. And if you can get anything out of this, anyone can do it. Anyone. I didn't know I was going to do a university degree. I didn't know I was going to have, babies naturally. Like, you can do it. You can. tune into your heart space and trust and believe in you. Take time. That's what this season's called. Take time for you. Take time, baby steps to work out what that is. Even if that just starts with having a morning ritual and sipping tea every day and just writing one word in your journal until you do even find that thing, or find your person to help you find that thing.
Because I also want to just step in for a second too and be like, because you said that.
I was getting a bit tangenty.
No, it was perfect actually. It was only until you said that one thing.
Yeah.
Because I realized that this was something that for me for a long time off my path completely. Kind of good because it's very humbling. Because before I always thought I knew, you look at people and say, I don't know what I want to do anymore. I'm not connected with my heart, blah, blah. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. But in my head, I didn't. I'd be like, how did that happen? But it happened. It happened to me. It happened to me. And, all of a sudden, I've got, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I'm just like, well, what happened? This is how I met Kate, was the beginning of my healing journey of going back to self and going, what happened? Like, how did this happen to me? How did I get so far? Like, I don't even know what I want anymore. I just know I want something. I want to write. What happened? But sometimes that's what you have to do at first, is just those little sentences. And then maybe because whatever your circumstances in your life are, you're not going to get past that. That's okay. Full permission to be like, okay, today all I did was write down, I don't know. And maybe you ask, what next? And maybe your heart says something really stupid like coffee. That's next. And Good. You know what? You don't judge it. I know I said stupid because that's what I judge. But, you don't judge that, because maybe that's what your heart's saying right now, is that I'm afraid to ask for something big. You've smothered me for so long. I just want tiny things until I can trust you again, and then I'll open up. And that's okay. And come back to yourself like that. Come back to yourself going with, you know what? I haven't treated you very well. And if you were someone else, I'd be really nice to you for a very long time until you trusted me again. And if you're not there, then treat your heart like that. Treat your heart as something that you've ignored, that you've broken, that you've thrown away, that you've expected to always be there, that you were the bad partner to your heart. The one who's like, you're just going to be there no matter what I do or don't do. I'll cheat on you. I'll lie to you. I'll do all these things. And then just come back to your heart as a truly repentant person and be like, okay, you know what? You don't want to talk to me today? All you want to do is let me have a sip of tea? Done. Accept it. And tomorrow I'll be there. Every single day you show up until your heart fully trusts you again, and you will come back. I promise you, you will come back. But depending on how long and how badly you've been treating yourself, it will take time. And as long as you trust in that time, you trust in that space, your heart will come back.
This has added another layer, because I'm often like, okay, guys, let's love ourselves. Let's fake it till we make it. And sure, there is that element of that. But when you are making those true connections to heart space, and, and I have had beautiful souls come back and go, I can't fake this. This is gross. I'm like, excellent. You're there. You've gotten to as far as you can fake it. It's work.
Yes.
But then, so if you're just going, I'm taking time for myself, even though I don't believe I deserve that time, and even though someone's going to say something nasty about me having this time, I'm going to do it anyway. And my heart says, just sip the tea or have the coffee or burn the oil, or just the really simple acts, those simple daily acts. Great. And I know I've talked about this a lot before, but it's still so huge in our community that, these beautiful souls, guys, you can start the podcast. Sherry and I are very regular women doing extraordinary things because we got out of our own way. And you can start the podcast. You can write the book. You can have the art show. You can live on a boat or not, whatever. It's all, you can have the children. You can take a pause in your career. You can go study. Whatever it is, it's time to really tune into heart space and make the time for you. And I think this will go to air before the new year. So I think that this is just a brilliant one to say that, let's make 2019 your year. Like, let's make it your best year yet. And that's another thing I did too. I remember 2015, I was like, this is going to be the best year ever. And then at the end of the best year ever, when I, found gumboots and just found meditation and found myself, I was like, can I have a better year? This year is going to be better than the last.
Of course.
Life can and will get better. it can and will. It can and will. And if that place feels so dark and you feel so lost right now, that's okay, because the best light comes from the darkest dark. It really does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sherry, we nailed
When
it,
you're out,
babe.
you don't want to go back. We did.
Destination death. Look at us go. Yep.
Yep.
So
Full of
beautiful souls.
sunshine.
I think the messages, transformation, it's your time.
Yes.
Instincts. There's time and place. You don't have to shout it from the mountaintops today, but you maybe have to have that conversation with your partner, your soul sister, maybe yourself. But be
Exactly.
kind. Don't beat yourself up. Don't roll your eyes. Don't resist loving yourself, and don't resist taking time for you, because it is as simple and as difficult as that.
Exactly.
Sherry,
Absolutely.
founder of Creative Mermaids, it's so beautiful to see you again.
Love you, Kate.
Love you. And Kate Donnell, founder of Gummies by the Sea, saying good night, good morning, hello, good wherever you are. Hope you're well, and can't wait to see what Spirit has in store for us next week.
Love it.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.